The warship Kalendra dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of what the Galactic Council designated as Sector 7 Alpha, human space. Commander Kievan of the Zephyrite Imperial Fleet stood on the bridge, his chitinous plates shifting nervously as the viewscreen illuminated with the pale blue glow of a G-type star. "All systems nominal, Commander," reported Lieutenant Jennifer Torres, the only human aboard the vessel. She was here as a cultural liaison, though Kievan suspected the Council had assigned her more as a spy than a guide. "Maintain scanning protocols," Kievan ordered, his translator rendering his clicking mandibles into standard galactic common. "We're here to find out what happened to the 17 reconnaissance missions that vanished in this sector." Jennifer's expression remained neutral, but Kievan noticed her fingers drumming against her console, a human nervous tic he'd learned to recognize during their 6-month journey. "Commander, I should mention that my people tend to be territorial." "Your warnings are noted and logged, Lieutenant." Kievan's antennae twitched with irritation. "But 17 ships don't simply disappear. The Council suspects your species of piracy, perhaps worse." "My species," Jennifer said quietly, "doesn't exist in a vacuum. We're part of the galaxy now, whether the Council likes it or not." Before Kievan could respond, the sensor officer chittered in alarm. "Commander, multiple contacts emerging from the asteroid belt. Configuration unknown. They're moving in attack formation." The viewscreen shifted, revealing dozens of vessels unlike anything in the galactic database. They were crude, asymmetrical things, clearly cobbled together from salvaged parts and raw materials, but they moved with predatory precision. "Hail them," Kievan commanded. Static filled the bridge, then a gruff voice crackled through. "Zephyrite warship, you've entered the Frontier Coalition's territory. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded." Kievan's mandibles clacked in what might have been laughter. "I am Commander Kievan of the Galactic Council. You have no authority here. Surrender immediately." "The Galactic Council," the voice replied with unmistakable contempt, "abandoned this sector 70 years ago. We built our own authority." Jennifer stood abruptly. "Commander, request permission to handle negotiations." Kievan studied her. In 6 months, she'd been competent, professional, and frustratingly inscrutable. But now her dark eyes held something he couldn't quite identify, determination mixed with what might have been shame. "Granted, but one wrong move, Lieutenant." "Understood, sir." She activated her personal comm. "This is Lieutenant Jennifer Torres, formerly of the Earth Defense Coalition, now serving with the Galactic Council. Who am I speaking with?" A pause, then, "Torres, is that really you?" Jennifer's jaw tightened. "Hello, Marcus, it's been a while." 5 years, the voice, Marcus said. 5 years since you left to join the Council's integration program. How's life as their pet human?" "My choices are my own," Jennifer replied coldly. "But that's not why we're here. The Council wants to know what happened to their ships." Marcus laughed, a sound devoid of humor. "We sent them back. In pieces, mostly. Some we kept for parts. Turns out galactic tech makes excellent upgrades when you know how to reverse engineer it." Kievan slammed a claw against his command chair. "You admit to piracy and murder of Council personnel." "Murder?" Marcus's voice turned icy. "Tell me, Commander Kievan of the Zephyrite Empire, what do you call it when the Council declares an entire sector economically non-viable and withdraws all protection? What do you call abandoning 3 million human colonists to raiders, slavers, and worse?" Jennifer closed her eyes. The Council didn't know there were still humans here. "They didn't care to know," Marcus corrected. "We sent distress calls for 2 years. Nothing. So we stopped asking for help and started taking it. Every Council ship that came through here was either taxing us for using Council space lanes or ignoring our requests for aid. So yes, we defended ourselves." Kievan felt his certainty wavering. The Council's records had mentioned abandoned colonies, but they'd been listed as voluntary departures from unprofitable sectors. You expect me to believe the Council would deliberately. I don't expect you to believe anything, Marcus interrupted. I expect you to turn around and leave, or join the 17 ships we've already repurposed. Jennifer turned to Kievan. Commander, I need to tell you something. The integration program, it wasn't about bringing humanity into the Council. It was about controlling the narrative, making sure the galaxy only saw the humans the Council wanted them to see. You're saying you knew about this. Kievan's voice held an edge of betrayal. I suspected, but I also believed. I wanted to believe that joining the Council was our best path forward, that incidents like this were aberrations. She gestured to the view screen. I was wrong. The frontier vessels were closing in, weapons charging. Kievan's tactical officer reported the Kalendra could likely destroy most of them before being overwhelmed, but the cost would be severe. Commander, Jennifer said urgently, let me go over there. Let me talk to them face to face. Absolutely not. You'd be a hostage at best. I'd be human, she countered. They won't trust you, but they might trust me, and if there's any chance of resolving this without bloodshed. An explosion rocked the Kalendra. Warning shot, the tactical officer reported. They're targeting our engines. They want us disabled, not destroyed. Kievan made a decision that would likely end his career. Marcus, stand down. I'm sending Lieutenant Torres over. She'll have full authority to negotiate on the Council's behalf. The hell I will, Jennifer muttered, but loud enough for him to hear. Excuse me, Lieutenant. She met his gaze squarely. I'll negotiate, Commander, but not on the Council's behalf, on behalf of what's right. 3 hours later, Jennifer sat in what passed for a conference room on the Frontier Coalition's flagship, a converted mining hauler named Defiance. Marcus was older than she remembered, his face weathered by years of fighting and survival. Around the table sat representatives from a dozen human colonies she'd thought were extinct. The Council doesn't know what they have in humanity, Marcus was saying. They see us as primitives who got lucky with FTL technology. They don't understand that we've spent our entire history surviving impossible odds. So you've built an empire of your own, Jennifer observed, using captured Council technology. We've built a coalition, Marcus corrected. Every species the Council abandoned or exploited is welcome here. Humans, sure, but also the Kelare refugees, the Drexen survivors, even a few Zephyrites who got tired of their empire's lies. Jennifer's communicator buzzed. Kievan's voice was tense. Lieutenant, status report. Commander, I'm uploading data now. Documents, testimonies, evidence. The Frontier Coalition isn't a pirate organization, it's a survivors network, and they're not alone. As Jennifer transmitted the files, she watched Marcus's face. What happens now? That depends on your commander, Marcus replied. He can report what he's learned and probably get court-martialed for his trouble. Or he can help us. The Council's grip on the outer sectors is weakening. More colonies are being abandoned. More species are being exploited. Someone needs to stand up for them. Back on the Kalendra, Kievan reviewed the data with growing horror. The evidence was irrefutable. The Council had systematically abandoned dozens of colonies, not because they were unprofitable, but because they were too independent, too willing to question Council authority. When Jennifer returned, Kievan asked the question that would define both their futures. What do you recommend, Lieutenant? I recommend we tell the truth, Jennifer said. All of it. Let the galaxy decide what the Council really represents. Kievan's antennae drooped, a gesture of resignation or perhaps relief. You realize this will likely start a war. Wars have been started for worse reasons, Jennifer replied. Besides, Commander, I think we both know this one's been brewing for a long time. 3 months later, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session to address the human question. Commander Kievan stood before them, his career in ruins, to deliver testimony about what he'd found in Sector 7 Alpha. Beside him stood Lieutenant Jennifer Torres, no longer wearing a council uniform. They told the truth, and the galaxy listened. The Frontier Coalition didn't want war. They wanted recognition, protection, and the right to self-determination. But they'd learned the hard lesson that no ship ever came back from human space because humans, once pushed to the edge, didn't just survive. They evolved. They adapted. They became something the Council had never anticipated, a force that couldn't be ignored, controlled, or erased. And as Jennifer had told Kevin during their long journey back to Council space, that's the thing about humanity. We don't need permission to exist. We just need you to get out of our way.